The ability to perform Bankai serves as a status symbol within Bleach. Any Shinigami who has mastered their Zanpakutō to this level can unleash an incredible amount of Reiatsu. Their enhanced fighting style and formidable skills reveal a lot about the inner workings of their own soul. Many fans have characterized Soi Fon as a detached and merciless assassin due to her two-hit kill Shikai. This characterization is further reinforced by her dedication as Commander-in-Chief of the Onmitsukido and as well as being the captain of the 2nd Division. However, a closer look at Soi Fon's Bankai reveals a very fascinating contradiction within her soul. Despite her fairly stoic demeanor, Soi Fon's Bankai manifests as a large missile which has a violently destructive power. This stark contrast suggests that beneath the composed exterior lies a hidden, turbulent, and emotionally sensitive nature. And we saw glimpses of this at the end of Soi Fon's battle against Yoruichi during the Soul Society arc. In today's video, I'm going to be deconstructing the meaning behind Soi Fon's Bankai, Jakuhō Raikōben. By analyzing its abilities and appearance, we'll be able to gain a better understanding of what this final release of a Zanpakutō reveals about Soi Fon's character. Be sure to stick around until the very end of this video, as I will also be exploring the thematic connection between Soi Fon's Shikai and her Bankai. So without further delay, here is my video explaining the Bankai of one of the strongest female characters in all of Bleach. Before the video begins, only 20% of the people who actually watch my content are subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy these videos, then subscribe and stick around for more content just like this. Now let's get back to the topic of the video. Soi Fon's Bankai makes its debut appearance within chapter 360 of the manga. Due to its large size and sturdiness, Soi Fon had hoped to defeat Baragon without resorting to her Bankai. By this point in the story, Soi Fon has established herself as a master of stealth thanks to her role as Commander-in-Chief of the Onmitsukido. Her Bankai, however, contradicts everything that Soi Fon stands for. Soi Fon explains that her Bankai is too big to conceal, too heavy for movement, and its attack is too flashy for an assassin. Known for her proficiency in Shunpo, Hakuda, and Shunko, Soi Fon wields her Zanpakutō less frequently than some of her colleagues, like Hitsugaya or Kinpachi. And this is in line with her predecessor Yoruichi, whose Zanpakutō we have not even seen. A Zanpakutō is the standard weapon that is used by Shinigami, and it can also be possessed by an Arrancar or a Vizard. The concept of a Zanpakutō makes Bleach memorable as it provides insight into each character's personality. We can infer about a character's weaknesses, their fears, and even strengths through the Zanpakutō that they wield. Within the Bleach universe, there are a variety of different Zanpakutō, including power type, elemental based, and even Kido based Zanpakutō. Unfortunately, Soi Fon's Suzumebachi is characterized as unclassified due to its unique abilities. Suzumebachi literally translates to Hornet, and its release command is sting all enemies to death, and this command activates the initial release known as Shikai. A Shikai is a partial manifestation of a Shinigami's inner soul. The Zanpakutō either transforms into another unique weapon or it displays a unique ability in its Shikai state. This stage can only be achieved after learning the name of one Zanpakutō spirit. The Shikai of Suzumebachi has a very special ability known as Nigeki Kisatsu, or Double Strike Finisher, and this allows Soi Fon to target her enemies for destruction, as her Shikai needs to strike twice in order to deal a finishing blow. The Bankai of Suzumebachi is entirely different, however. Jakuhō Raikōben is the manifestation of Soi Fon's innermost being, and it appears as a giant golden missile launcher. Its special ability allows Soi Fon to direct a one-strike attack towards her enemy, and not only does it take approximately 10 years to master a Bankai, but a Bankai also increases the combat capabilities of a Zanpakutō's Shikai by 5 to 10 times. Since a Shikai and Bankai cannot possess unrelated abilities, I will begin the analysis of Soi Fon's Bankai by first examining the name and abilities of her Shikai. We will then follow this up with a deep dive into two major battles which had showcased the Bankai of Soi Fon. It's important to note that the connection between a Shikai and a Bankai may be literal or even symbolic in nature. By linking the concepts of Shikai and Bankai together, we can gain a deeper understanding of the theme that Kubo wants to convey through Soi Fon's Fon's final release of her Zanpakutō. During the Soul Society arc, Soi Fon's confrontation with Yoruichi in chapter 157 showcases her using her Shikai against her former mentor. When Soi Fon activates Suzumebachi with the command Nigeki Kisatsu, she stabs Yoruichi with a Zanpakutō, marking the laceration with a emblem known as Homonka, and it takes on the shape of a hornet. Soi Fon explains that the Homonka's purpose is to carve a death crest onto her opponent's body on the first strike. If Soi Fon is able to strike her opponent in the same spot again, then it will be fatal. In chapter 158, she reveals that the Homonka no longer has a time limit for causing injury, disappearing only if she chooses to spare her victim. Although the anime suggests that Suzumebachi's Shikai secretes venom and has a counter poison, Kubo has in fact never confirmed this. During Aizen's invasion of fake Karakura town, Soi Fon is among the captains sent to defend the city from Aizen and its Espada. In chapter 330, we see Soi Fon impale her opponent Gio Vega as she presses him against a building using Kido, as she then activates her Zanpakutō. After a prolonged battle in which she stabs Gio with her Shikai, the Arrancar releases his Resurrection as he utilizes Tiger Fang Swift Wind Great Swords. His transformation is short-lived as Soi Fon proceeds to stab him for a second time with her Shikai. Omaida celebrates, assuming that Soi Fon's Shikai doesn't need to strike the same place twice, but she corrects him, revealing that she had struck in the same spot in Gio's right lung from the front and then the back. This means that Soi Fon's Shikai doesn't need to hit the exact same spot if she is targeting something internally like an organ. In chapter 391, Soi Fon tries to use Nigeki Kisatsu against Aizen, but she fails. Aizen explains that battles between Shinigami are ultimately battles of Reiatsu, and he can suppress Soi Fon's technique and powers with his superior Reiatsu. When Soi Fon activates her Shikai by uttering its release command, her Zanpakutō transforms shape into a black and golden armored glove with a sharp blade attached to her middle finger. This tiny, elongated blade makes it easier for Soi Fon to attack her enemies without being detected, and its design resembles that of a hornet. The appearance and function of Suzumebachi's Shikai is in stark contrast with its Bankai, which I'll be now breaking down and analyzing. Immediately after her fight against Gio Vega, Soi Fon engages in battle with his master, Baragon Luisenbahn, known as the self-proclaimed King of Hueco Mundo and the second-ranking Espada. Baragon proves to be an extremely tough opponent. In chapter 356, Baragon reveals that each Espada governs a different aspect of death, and his aspect of death is senescence, or aging with time. After having her arm deteriorate due to its ability, Soi Fon hides behind a building and begins executing a plan in order to unleash her Bankai. At the end of chapter 359, it's revealed that Soi Fon has wrapped a steel band around the building in order to prepare for the massive explosion from her Bankai. In chapter 360, she appears in front of Baragon with her Bankai ready. Jakuhō Raikōben is divided into two sections. The first section consists of golden armor wrapped around Soi Fon's right arm, and it extends to form a shield which protects the right side of her face. The second part is a massive golden projectile decorated with black streaks, and it's encased within the armor. Omaida notices that Soi Fon is wearing a steel band as he thinks that it will severely restrict her movements due to its weight. And he isn't wrong, because every aspect of her Bankai is characterized by its huge overbearing weight. When Soi Fon fires the projectile at Baragon, the detonation is so powerful that her steel band is instantly torn apart and she is thrown into a nearby building. Unfortunately, in chapter 364, Baragon emerges from the smoke unscathed. Now, following the arrival of the Vizards onto the battlefield, Soi Fon and Hachi team up and they formulate a plan to defeat Baragon. Hachi reveals that Baragon escaped the explosion by releasing his aging energy against it, thus allowing him to project the missile away from himself. Hachi then utilizes the Bakudo technique known as Shiju Saimon in order to trap Baragon in a barrier, and this creates an enclosed space where the force of Soi Fon's blast cannot escape from. This time, the projectile is released close enough that Baragon's aging ability Respira cannot be activated in enough time. After firing the projectile from her Bankai for the second time, Soi Fon is visibly exhausted and she falls to the ground. Hachi comments on the sheer power of Jakuhō Raikōben as he notes that it was even able to crack his Bakudo technique. Soi Fon explains that her limit for using her Bankai is once every 3 days, and now that she has used it twice in such a close proximity, she has understandably expended all of her strength and energy. But even then, this wasn't enough to kill Baragon, but he does appear to be severely injured, because after the Bankai attack, he is visibly missing almost half of his body. The third time that Soi Fon uses a Bankai occurs during the 1000-Year Blood War arc. At the beginning of the first Quincy invasion, Soi Fon's Bankai is stolen by BG9 in chapter 496. However, during the second Quincy invasion, Urahara's invention, the Shadow Infiltration Pill, allows the captains to retrieve their stolen Bankai. By chapter 553, Soi Fon is able to use her Bankai again, and she immediately blows BG9 into the sky. Although the Sternritter meets his end at the hands of Hashward later in the story, the blast from Soi Fon's Bankai leaves him weakened and unable to fight. Interestingly, we never see BG9 use Soi Fon's Bankai against her, nor do we witness any other abilities from Jakuhō Raikōben, so I do hope that future installments of the series, like the upcoming Hell arc in the manga, will provide us with more opportunities to see maybe an evolved or improved version of Soi Fon's Bankai. One of the core themes in every arc of Bleach is identity. Throughout the series, Kubo skillfully portrays the inner state of a Shinigami through their relationship with their Zanpakutō. The symbolic evolution from Soi Fon's stealth-based Shikai to her artillery-based Bankai highlights the duality within her character. Outwardly, she is an assassin who excels in strength. Her Shikai Suzumebachi is light and nearly unnoticeable. It epitomizes the covert nature that is expected of the leader of the Onmitsukido. Nigeki Kisatsu operates by delivering 2 stings, which emphasizes precision as well as close-range combat. In stark contrast, Jakuhō Raikōben is a one-hit strike weapon that can be fired from a distance, and it's highly conspicuous. It hampers her mobility, and it is completely opposite to her role as an assassin. The aesthetic of both her Shikai and Bankai is inspired by a hornet. By rarely using her Bankai, we can infer that Soi Fon either denies her true self or she struggles to accept her identity. This is highlighted by the fact that even her Lieutenant Omaida had never seen her Bankai until the fake Karakura Town arc. This reluctance speaks volumes about Soi Fon's internal conflict and the relationship that she has with herself. As noted by Shunsui in chapter 361, Bankai is essentially an ace up the sleeve for any Shinigami. However, Soi Fon is not a character who willingly embraces her Bankai. Another character who embodies duality is Unohana Retsu, as outwardly she is a gentle healer, but during the final arc, it's revealed that she once held the title of Kinpachi. Her Shikai and Bankai, both named Minazuki, possess vastly contrasting abilities. In the Shikai state, Minazuki heals people within its stomach, whereas in the Bankai form, it is a deadly weapon capable of harming powerful opponents like Kinpachi Zaraki. The weapons that are revealed within Bleach usually reflect the true nature of the characters, revealing their fears, goals, and hidden desires. Soi Fon was born into a family that served the heavenly bestowed Armament Guardians clan. She was meant to function as Yoruichi's arms and legs as a part of the punishment force, which explains her cold and ruthless demeanor, and it's mirrored in her Shikai. However, her explosive Bankai suggests a wild and sensitive temperament. In chapter 159, Soi Fon breaks down in tears, questioning Yoruichi about why she had left her behind when Yoruichi had escaped to the world of the living. Additionally, in chapter 515, she is visibly devastated after the death of head captain Yamamoto, and she lashes out at a soldier who is delivering news about Byakuya and Renji's current condition. Kensei reprimands her, and Komamura even has to yell at her to regain her composure. While typically Soi Fon tries to maintain an outer shell of dignity, her true authentic self though is filled with unexpressed emotions. I do hope that this video has helped you to better understand Soi Fon's Bankai and how it operates, as well as the theme of duality that links her Shikai and her Bankai together. So we've now reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What do you think about Soi Fon's Bankai and all of the times that it was showcased within the series? Do you think that she's had a massive growth in power and her Bankai has evolved since the end of the 1000-year Blood War arc? I'd love to know all of your thoughts about the future of Soi Fon's Bankai in the Hell arc, and in general what you think about it, so do continue the discussion in the comments. And lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next Bleach Explained video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.